Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back to our regular community. This is a crypto stock market direction and health update. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently trading at 33,699. Ethereum 2149, up 1%. We can see USDC, DAI, USDT, and BUSD. These are the stable coins. They're currently green. That indicates a flow from the crypto market to stable coins. Let's dig deeper. Just a quick note to let you know everything I do for you is free. My focus is to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. I don't have any paid groups, reports, indicators. I never put leverage trading links. And I don't show you how to trade. I just give you the fundamentals. But I don't do deep fundamental dives. I do deep technical dives. I make money from the markets. There are a lot of good groups out there, and a lot of people have come from other groups to visit us and be part of our community too. To those people, you're very welcome. I want to let you know that scammers tend to try to impersonate, just like on every channel. When I respond to you, I have this. If I pin a comment, it looks like this, and my replies look like this. Please don't get sucked in by scammers. Let's do a quick news sentiment analysis. When we're looking at news sentiment, we're looking as if we don't have any concept of crypto whatsoever. We'll just read the headline. If the headline seems to be positive, we'll say positive. If we can't figure out what it is from the headline, we'll say neutral. And if it seems negative, we'll say that. Will Bitcoin become mainstream currency? Wow. Actually asking that question means that it will one day. So that's positive. Central bank digital currency, Bitcoin dissonance. This is really hard to understand. We would have to go down here and understand what it's saying. So we're going to say it's neutral, but in fact it's positive, but we'd have to dig in. Can Bitcoin fracking solve the word solve energy crisis? It's positive. Market silence. How does market silence help Bitcoin recover? We're really not quite sure what this is about, so we'll just say it's neutral. Cambridge shows Bitcoin carbon intensity. Again, we have to read this article, so we'll just say it's neutral. Bitcoin range bound lags crypto stocks. Well, that seems pretty negative. So we'll say that that's negative. Marathon Digital Holdings announced Bitcoin production. Okay, this seems positive on the outside. We'd have to dig in. Bitcoin Pro speculator over possible loss. Now this is really interesting. This is the billionaire that recently died, and he had $2 billion. But if we don't know this, if we're so new, we look at loss as a negative. So that's an interesting way to view the news. That would be negative. Axie Infinity, AXS, we've talked a lot about this in the technical sessions. Makes gains. Okay, it's positive. Skybridge Capital launches Ethereum fund. Well, that's positive. From that quick analysis, we've got 2 negative, 3 neutral, or 3 that we have to figure out, and 5 positive. That is really interesting. Retail traders over the weekend tend to trade news sentiment. The news sentiment is positive. Using rule 171, let's zoom out and see what the perspective is. To get an understanding of where we are in the cycle, I use the KS model. And the KS model is a real-time Bitcoin technical trading model based on institutional price psychology. We can see at the moment, Bitcoin is trading at $33,561.55. This is a real model of Bitcoin's actual price. We're in the psychological sunshine of the bull market. We're below the previous all-time high. We're expecting to recover to that all-time high and go forward to this green dot around this area, which is about a 2.3x from where we are, or say 2.4x. But is that realistic? We really need to check if that is probable. Institutional investors which the KS model is actually based on. It's based on their behavior, not retail investment behavior, but institutional. Retail looks at the news. Institutions look at total addressable market, market penetration, network effects, growth rates, things like that. The total global internet users grew along this scale exponentially, incredibly fast. It was one of the fastest growing technologies the world had ever seen. Crypto is growing exponentially faster. It's measured on this scale. It's like looking literally, we are in the internet at around 1997 with crypto, but crypto is growing more quickly. That's a pretty positive sign. Many people are concerned that we've reached a top. Now, if we have, that will be really, really easy to see in on-chain data. We can use the realized cap HODL waves to understand that we have one red peak here, but generally we have three. See this second one, third one, second one, third one. We have the first, but no second, no third. Just let's keep that in mind. It's all about probability. If we turn to net unrealized profit and loss, which is called NUPL, we always witness euphoria and an exponential blow off top, such as happened here, such as happened here, such as happened here. You'll see the blue. We've not seen any blue in the current cycle. That means euphoria has not set in yet. That's positive. That's a positive probability that we can use. The Puell multiple is quite an interesting on-chain metric. I had a great comment in the video comment from yesterday, basically talking about how the Puell multiple may not be all that relevant. And that is actually a really good comment. What we're looking here is potentially something slightly different. You see this red area and you see this green area. What we're really thinking, if the Puell multiple was actually in this red zone, that would give us cause for concern. If it's in the green zone, that would give us optimistic projections. So it's kind of more towards the green than towards the red. Again, it's just a little building block. There's a lot of different data from the China miner exodus and all sorts of things that we could take into account here, and it's very worthwhile to do that. But just from zooming back, say 200,000 feet, we can say this line is way away from that red line and closer to that green line. That gives us some confidence. But thank you so much to the person that did that comment. It was really good and you should read it. I'm always here for the community and I read every comment I can possibly read. I had a couple of people reach out to me and say, Ken, could you cover the stock to flow model, the ratio? Absolutely, always happy to do that. We can see on a color-coded basis, you see this green here where my mouse is. If we go back, it's around this green here and around this kind of green, or even could be around this green here. So what we're witnessing is we're not really witnessing very light green as accompanies the tops. If you like these color-coded ways of looking at it, I think this is really neat. All models are fantastic. We just want to get on the right side of the probability. Let's have a quick look at reserve risk. Like the Puell multiple, what we're really trying to do is to figure out, are we in the red zone? Are we in the green zone? How far away is the current measure to the red? Because when it gets up to the red, we need to worry. We need to de-risk. At the moment, we can see that it's quite close to the green, just like the Puell multiple. So what we're really trying to do is to assess all the probabilities across a wide range of data. I love to hide all these trading rules all over the videos. You'll find them at the start, the end, the middle, all over the place. They're like little Easter eggs. You can go on a hunt for the rules. This particular rule, all trading is probabilistic. What we've just seen is the probabilities tend to suggest that we're pretty good in terms of the overall cycle. This is just a pullback and we're heading higher. Another Easter egg for you. Rule 119. Question instant reactions. This is always good in life to lead a more balanced life. We can get reactions very, very quickly from things that people say or things that we know must be true, but they're not true for everyone. So let's have a look and see what is going on inside the markets. Let's have a look at the NASDAQ 100. Your instant reaction could be, oh my goodness, that's so high, it's got to crash. We know price is always moving in a wave, going up and down. A retracement to around this level is completely healthy. We've got an uptrend, a solid support line. We're not concerned about, especially the NASDAQ. Let's have a look at the S&P 500. Again, higher high, going up. It needs to consolidate. It needs to wave down to this support to be healthy. And when it does, it is not the end of the world. It's just really, really healthy stuff. Don't forget, you can see the price of Bitcoin just here underlaid on that price action. I always try to give you as much information as I possibly can to help you gain context. In the Russell 2000, we've got a strong support line here. It's consolidating after a very powerful leg up. The Russell has always been has been very powerful recently. Let's have a look at the Dow Jones. Again, support, consolidation. It made a high, a lower high, but look at this. Current price action is testing that lower high. It's really positive overall. Let's look at the triple Q. Again, strong trend line. Here, strong support. Bitcoin price underneath. It's a high, higher high, higher high. Price moves in waves. We're expecting it to come down. When it does, it is normal. But the media is going to make a field day out of a crash imminent. Okay. Many people have talked about the dollar, and there's some really good conversations out there. Just like stable coins, the dollar is seen as a place to park your money when things are going bad. And that's a really good point. And that we witness that in the stable coins in the crypto. So that absolutely makes sense. One of the things that we say when we question our instant reactions is that they go out of alignment from time to time. So I believe that Bitcoin is driven by its halving cycle and euphoria because there's no, in a way, there are no fundamentals below Bitcoin in the sense that it has earnings per share and book value, etc., etc. It doesn't. It's not like that. So it's really hard to understand from a traditional finance perspective and background. In terms of the dollar, we can see the dollar increasing here and Bitcoin increase. We can see the dollar decreasing here, Bitcoin decreased. We can see the dollar getting up over this resistance and coming up again. And we see Bitcoin coming up again. It's almost like when you're at the lights and you're driving and you're turning right, for example, your indicator can sync with the car in front and then it can go out of alignment. It's kind of like that. But the overall concept of the dollar, I think, is very fair. I think Bitcoin is quite an animal. When it does what it does, it really does what it does. And it doesn't care about other things. Okay, let's have a look what yields are doing. 10-year, it's at that at that support line. It's just testing it, not doing anything significant right now. Same with the 30-year yield. Let's have a look at gold. Gold has a degree of overhead resistance here. It's making its way back up to test that. Let's have a look at silver. Silver is doing quite well. It has good strong support and open air above this support. That's looking quite healthy. It's looking to resume up. Overall, we would say the markets are healthy. Let's have a look at Bitcoin technical analysis. Bitcoin is currently trading at 35,560. In episode 100, it was 33,258. I mentioned that this incredible support line that was put in from the low and this higher low, I believe that would hold the price of Bitcoin. I know a couple of people reached out in the community and said, wow, that's a bit controversial, Ken. Yeah, I guess I'm controversial. I just play it as I see it, like I've done with shakeout moves and technical violations. It's better to have some sort of picture. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. It matters what the probabilities are. And the probabilities were that this would be a higher low around this level. I'm really happy that it's held up so well against this structural support down here. It's basically tended to, it's not even touched it as yet. Now I say as yet because weekends are volatile. As we know, we've got to always keep our eye open. Price can move on very low liquidation levels, and that means that the price is really not significant. So having buy orders below these areas is often good to try and catch tails that quickly repair. So let's get into Bitcoin. We can see that that resistance line that we were talking about has been broken out of, it's retested and resumed, and Bitcoin is seeking to turn the current resistance level into support at around its current price. That's really healthy. The thing to be aware of, we have structural resistance around this 34,267 mark. It's actually a little higher, but it gives you the understanding. And we've got a bit of a downward slant here too. This is why this particular support level, resistance level at 34,267 is important. We're seeing a good deal of positive action in Bitcoin's price at the moment. A really important thing to remember, price is always moving in waves. Here we have the McDonald's symbol. You gotta love these symbols in charts. I just adore them. And price down, price up, price down, price up. It's always that way. Just get used to that concept. Price moves in waves. It will basically make you a fortune, and it will help you to sleep really well at night. The next real key level that we're looking at is Bitcoin to take out and convert 35,000 into support. When it does, I think it's party time. I'm really interested in taking you through the short and long positions on a relative basis. What we're trying to do is to see any sharp spikes up or down. We can see the shorts in red. They had a sharp spike up, but that was quickly dissipated by the longs. We see the shorts coming down, and as many have said in the market, it's sort of a stalemate kind of position. But if we look at the actual price action, we know that this resistance line has been crossed over. That's really, really positive for the crypto space. We're also starting to cover Ethereum longs and Ethereum shorts. The shorts are measured in red always, and the longs measured in green. We had this spike here of both shorts and longs, and look at that, it just ended that downward trajectory. This just gives us one little window into the crypto market that could help. Again, with Bitcoin, we've had a sort of narrowing out. It's basically a kind of a stalemate, but we see in Ethereum the shorts are actually increasing in value relatively. Let's have a look at what the liquidations look like. Over the past 24 hours, $205 million. That is really, really low. We expect average day is about 500. 40,900, 41,066 traders were liquidated. I laugh because the thing just changed as I was reading it. Over the past 1 hour, nearly all of the liquidations were short. Let's look at 12 hours. Okay, 76% short in terms of liquidations. Let's have a look at the 15-minute chart. So we can see that this upward price trajectory is driven by short covering. Just, you can look at it in that way. I think it's quite good for you to see underneath the hood of the market. We are always trying to trade and invest from a probabilistic attitude. So we're just collecting masses and masses of information. You can see here on the net realized profit and loss that a lot of people took really heavy losses recently. That means they're going to sit out if they're still in, or more likely that they have been liquidated. Looking at the stablecoin Tether, we saw when there was a big uptick here and a big uptick here. I've overlaid that on the fear and greed index for you, so I'll explain it later. But just notice a big uptick goes down because it's being deployed into other coins. From our perspective, just think if you're sitting at home and you're on an exchange and you think, wow, I think the bottom is in, I want to buy, you will need to transfer money to that exchange. It's more than likely that you'll buy a pair which is measured by USDT, which is Tether. From that perspective, that will boost the balances when we get these big increases like this. And just recently, that means people believe that the bottom is in. Let's turn to fear and greed and liquidations and Google search terms and a couple of other things that I've managed to throw in here for you. So extreme fear is being registered in the market at the moment. We have a 24 level. When there's extreme fear in the market, that's literally the best time to buy. You buy when everybody else is selling. Don't forget, it's always a one-to-one relationship between buyers and sellers. If you sell, somebody else is buying. For example, if you bought down here near this low and you managed to hold it just within this particular phase, I'm going down just a little bit because it's hard to time a top, but if you did that, you could potentially get a 37% return in what was basically a bloodbath. So always bear in mind, buying on the red, especially heavy red, is an extremely powerful way to DCA. Now, what is DCA, you say? DCA is dollar cost averaging. A lot of people dollar cost average in what I would term a non-productive way. They dollar cost average when the price goes up. They feel psychological safety. This is a really important idea. They feel that higher prices are coming and all of a sudden, pang, they get hit. What I would suggest to do is to buy when it's really heavily red. If you're in it for the long term and you know the price structure remains positive, and we've gone through a lot of data that proves that out, you're in a really safe position. And it's almost like if you bought down the bottom here, you're doing well already. Just think about that. I like to say catch the falling knife in crypto. It's a very, very good strategy, but of course you need to know what you're doing. And when I say you need to know what you're doing, I mean if we're in a bull market and we have confirmation that things are still healthy, we trade on the probability that this is just a correction, not a bear market. Just a couple more things here to explain. The Google search term, when we look at Bitcoin in Google search, it tends to measure very, very high, like 100. Right now, and this is a couple of days old because Google is delayed, but the current value is 22, which means it's way away from a fear-based reaction. That's quite good. That gives us some degree of confidence that we are hammering at a bottom. These yellow things are really from here. So if I change that to all, and we see some big spikes here, they're what is being measured on the fear and greed index inside these little yellow areas. We're trying to overlay as much data on the price of Bitcoin as we possibly can. Remember before we were talking about the tether balance on all exchanges going up? This yellow line preceded this massive price increase. People became very, very optimistic. They had a lot of psychological safety, and then the shorts came in and liquidated the longs. Shorts and longs are in a symbiotic relationship with each other. It's important to understand that the longs need the shorts and the shorts need the longs. I hope you found this content useful. Everything I do for you is free. Please be aware of scammers. I do these videos to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from. I'd love to hear from you. We've got some really brilliant discussions happening within the community. Very constructive, a lot of information being shared. It's beautiful to see. If you would like to share information, help answer other questions, that's great. I would only ask that we do so in a constructive way, knowing that everybody in the community is just a friend we haven't met yet. It's a really nice way to look at life. If you would like twice daily updates 7 days a week on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube and follow me on Twitter. Crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there. Take care and see you in the next episode. Bye for now.